what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing increases the live audience, of course, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Hilal Finder, A Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty, Mark Doxy, Chocolate Saying, Arwin, and Alan. Big panel. Hello, all.
Yo.
Hello.
Hello.
So whilst we were away on the break, Hilal Finder was doing some work on calculating the angular size reduction. And we've got to the point where I think we've got all the inputs. Is that right, Hilal?
One more time. What was the hidden height again?
The hidden was 298.
Ooh, this is going to be... this is not going to be a lot.
Correct.
And let's see one more time. And then that was 179,520. Okay. Sorry, I'm just checking my order of operations. Okay, and the angular size of that target should be... Okay. I think I need to convert this to inches. Or actually, no, and that's stupid. It's not going to be it's degrees, not feet.
Are you able to give it in feet?
The output's, of course, the output's not in feet. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but we need to know
angular size.
Yeah, it is angular size, but we need to know how much the hidden is going to be, how much the height of the hidden value is going to obscure what we're looking at.
Seems we have a bit of a problem.
I don't think we're calculating for the same thing.
No, we're not. You're right, Hilal. Hilal, you are correct.
Just say it however it's easiest for you. It's fine. I'll know who you're talking to.
Yeah, you're correct. You're absolutely right. We're talking at cross purposes. We're using something that we typically look at in inches and feet, and we're now talking about an angular size, which is totally different.
Similar, but not the same, because the problem we have is how do we apply a degrees height to something that we see?
Well,
here, you know what? I'm just going to type this out in the chat, and then you guys can use this as however you feel fit.
Yeah, but if it doesn't match the observation or it doesn't give us the real world view, then it's not the correct maths. We need to know how small these mountains should be at 34 miles.
Hold on, Anthony.
Well,
you don't know.
That's going to be in degrees.
That's the problem. Then that makes the
hold on, Anthony. I just want to say this. You know, if he's coming up with a solution, fine. You know, let's let him go through its process. If it falls apart, then no one's going to criticise him for trying. But let's not just assume it's not going to work.
Nathan, what use is a number with a degrees citation at the end of it?
But you're looking for angular size.
Just
address
that.
But angular size is necessarily going to be in degrees or radians.
Yeah, but how's that going to help a flat earther that's stupid and not blessed with maths to be able to look at what we're looking at and say, should that be behind the curve or not? We need to know how big these things are at 34 miles. We need the answer. Hold on. We need the answer in feet.
So wait, hold on. You're looking for an angular size that outputs in feet?
Correct. That's
not possible.
It's not possible.
That goes against what angular size is.
With maths. Maybe you don't know the maths, so make it possible.
No, you don't understand. Angular size is an angle by the very nature of its name.
We're talking about perspective reductions, right? That you guys are telling us is the angular size reduction, but we don't know whether it is or not because we're stupid. But the answer that we need from you is the height of the mountains in feet at 34 miles. If you're not able to do that, you don't know the maths.
Like,
could you draw a picture of whatever it is you mean? Because I really do not understand.
I just showed you the mountains on the screen. 34 miles away. How small are they?
Like some drawing program, show me the thing that you're looking to calculate.
Right. Do you agree that objects shrink as they appear to shrink as they go further away from you?
Yes.
So the further away, the smaller they get. How high are these mountains to the observer when they're 34 miles away? The answer we want is in feet. Because otherwise, how can we apply the hidden values to it?
I don't think we can. I don't think we can. I think we've got a very real problem here. So unless you take every single photograph on a photograph by photograph basis and calculate it out based on the zoom functionality and then compare a per pixel measurement to give you an apparent size in feet, that's an absolutely massive amount of work.
But it's not possible.
Well, that's a problem, isn't it?
I agree.
No,
Big problem.
You're asking for okay. First of all, if you're trying to if you have a picture and you know, if you have a picture, how would you even go about measuring this feet angular size thing?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, we don't use this as a calculation for begging the question that the world's a sphere, you see. So this really isn't our problem. But it is a problem, and it's a very amusing problem, and it's your problem.
It's not a problem.
It is a problem, because we do have an angular size reduction at distance. And if you're saying it's impossible to convert it into feet, then why are we using a calculator that offers the amount of obstruction in feet if we can only ascertain how big something is in the distance based on its angular size? The two conflict, and that's a big problem. For you, not me.
That's not what it's for, though.
Yeah, we know what the calculator's for. The calculator is for assessing actual sizes as opposed to apparent sizes. And we measure apparent size in degrees, not in feet. That's a big problem for you and your begging the question calculator. Not a problem for me. I don't use this calculator for anything. When I asked you if you would be serving up this calculator, you said yes. I'm never going to be serving up this calculator. So it is your calculator, your calculation, and your problem.
But that has nothing to do with... You're asking for a calculator that provides an angular size.
I'm not asking for anything. You, Muppets, present this calculator to us. Do you get it? This isn't our calculation. It's yours. That's why I asked you if you would be going to St. Bees and then presenting up this calculator. You, not me. Do you get it?
Okay.
This is your begging the question fallacy calculator, not mine.
I'm not begging the question. And
yes, you are. You assume your outcome. You've already got a radius. How many times? I've gone through this twice now. You're seeming stupid. Are you stupid, sir? Answer me. Are you stupid?
Do I need to answer that question?
I don't think so. We all know you're stupid because you don't understand what a begging the question fallacy is, even though you've conceded twice that you assume it has a radius. You dumbass. So yes, okay. You are indeed stupid.
Okay. Okay.
So do we understand and have an agreement that this is your begging the question, proof of nothing, broken, perspective denying calculation, and not mine?
How am I begging the question?
You assume there is a radius, you dumb wit.
Where?
With the radius that you insert into the calculation. Now, are we back to this? Either accept that you assume your outcome with this radius, or provide scientific evidence for it.
Okay, you don't seem to understand what it is I plan to do.
I do. You plan on calculating it with a fallacious calculation. What we're currently doing is pointing out that that fallacious calculation, number one, does not include perspective. Now, we're also pointing out, when you ask us how we should be doing the angular size, that it's not our problem. It's your problem. You go and figure this out. That's why I shouted at you, dickhead. When you were like, what do you want us to do? And I said, go and figure out your bullshit calculator. Don't ask me how to figure out what angular size needs to be done with or how to get feet out of an angular size, because that's what your broken calculator gives us it in. I don't give a crap. This is your broken calculator.
And do you actually know what I plan to measure?
Yeah, beg the question and assume the radius. How many times?
Use the radius where? Where do you think I plan to use that?
I asked you were you going to use the metabump curve calculator, and you said yes. By saying yes to that question, you're going to be using the assumed radius.
Is your equation at any stage using an R value?
Guys,
hold on, I want an answer.
Do you at any stage? I've been trying to do it for over 15 minutes now. Can I have a say?
I just want to ask him a question. Do you at any stage use an R value in your calculator?
Can I have a freaking say, please? I've been trying to say something for 15 minutes. Okay? You could solve the problem by actually calculating the bulge, the supposed bulge that in the way, in an angular size. Then you have all angular sizes.
How
Then
big's
you
the bulge,
solve.
Arwin? Where do we
You
get
have
the
to
bulge
actually
value?
do that.
Where do we get the bulge value from?
Just measure everything in supposed
Yeah, we get
heights.
the bulge value from an R value, Arwin. That was my point. So I was just going to repeat my question that you interrupted. Are you using an R value anywhere in your equations, my friend? Oh, have I lost my panel?
No, I don't think so.
It's getting silence.
Hello. I'm
Mr.
still
Finder,
here.
at any point are you using an R value in your calculations?
He's not on mute. He might have dropped power or signal.
Oh, he's still in there.
No, he's just realised and gone silent when I very calmly point out his begging the question fallacy that he's denied on 3 separate occasions. So I'll keep asking, do you at any stage use an R value?
He already said yes to that. But
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
know.
he realises it's begging the question.
Yeah, that's why he's stupid. And I've pointed that out on several occasions on this show. He's stupid. The man is
It doesn't
stupid.
have to be begging the question, though.
Sorry, do you use an R value? I'd like an answer now, please, in your maths.
Yeah, you can.
Right. Listen to me, you stupid moron. You assume your outcome. You already have a radius before you go and perform any tests. You already
that's
know
what a
it's a
prediction-
sphere. You've already got an R value, you stupid idiot.
But that's what a prediction is.
That's not a prediction. It's called a presupposition. Again, you are a retard.
It's not a presupposition. It's
Yes, it is if you assume the outcome and presuppose it. You already
No, it's-
presuppose you are on a
that's what
sphere. You already incorporate an R value.
But what you're describing is a prediction.
Prediction for what? What you already know is the
prediction.
case with the R value.
But
You
that's
already know it's the case. You've got an R value.
Okay, let me try to explain this.
No,
When
you already know it's the case. You already have an R value. What part of this aren't you understanding? You're telling me
Okay,
you're
let
not
me try
begging the question that it's round or sphere when you've already got that it's a sphere in your maths?
Okay.
Don't sigh, you stupid moron. Just because the penny has finally dropped and you're actually starting to realise what a stupid idiot you are, yes, you are indeed begging the question. If you already have an R value, you already have a radius, you already have a sphere. That's the very nature. You presuppose your outcome.
Okay, I'm
Nathan,
done
this
with
is-
this.
Nathan,
dude. I'm done
this-
with this. You're wasting everybody's time.
Yeah,
I'm
you
done
are
with
wasting
this.
everyone's time.
how science works is that you make.
Don't you dare tell me about science works.
Okay, you make it first. You make a prediction.
Shut
then
up.
You,
First you make an observation. That's not what you first do. First step is observe a phenomenon, you stupid retard. Do not say another word about science. You hear me?
observe. I think you're taking observe a phenomenon a bit too.
That's the first step. Now I've just shown again what a stupid little twat you are. So shut your mouth about science. You are a retard. So shut up, making yourself look foolish about science. Science doesn't support your model. You presuppose your outcome. How dare you now go on to science, something you clearly know nothing about?
Okay, can I finish?
No, I don't know why you're still
Okay,
talking. Go away and measure with an angular reduction for distance the mountains that you saw in that composite and have been confirmed by Ranty. What are you even still doing here? Have you gone and
Because
done
that's
that yet?
impossible. It is impossible, and
That's not my problem. I'm not the one begging the question and assuming the outcome with this calculation, you stupid retard. Do you think it's my problem that it's impossible to do this in your maths? I couldn't give a crap. I'm not here begging the question and assuming we're on a sphere before I do a damn thing now, am I?
Nathan, please listen to me. This
No,
calculator.
I don't have to listen to me even if you say please. I'll just point out that you're a retard. You don't understand what a begging the question fallacy is. You don't understand how science works. Your model is fallacious. It doesn't account for perspective. Nothing that anybody's ever presented here has been anything useful, anything like proof, and you are the epitome of these idiots. You're still doing it. Still don't get how stupid you are.
Nathan,
understand how science works.
This calculator you're talking about, which gives an output in feet, has nothing to do with the curvature of the Earth.
Is that so? What the hell do you dickheads use it for then? Why is it called an Earth curve calculator then, dickhead? Why has it got that label? Earth curve calculator's got nothing to do with Earth curve. That is the most absurd thing you have ever said. You are literally retarded.
About an Earth curve calculator.
It's called an Earth curve calculator.
I'm talking about a calculator that's...
Yeah, a calculator just calculates things, doesn't it? But we're talking specifically about an Earth curve calculator, the Metabunk one that you said you would bring, the one with the label Earth curve calculator, that you are now asserting has nothing to do with Earth curve, because you are indeed a moron.
That's not what I said. Are you going to let me say what I actually need to say? Okay. Any calculator or any calculation that is an angular size calculator.
Though, is it? That's not this. This Metabunk one, we asked you if you were going to bring that. You said you were going to bring that. Why are you now talking about an angular size calculator? That's not Metabunk, is it?
I'm not talking about Metabunk.
We are talking about Metabunk. We asked you, will you be using Metabunk when you come back with your observation? Answer, yes. Then I pointed out that it's a begging the question fallacy, and that it ignores perspective, and that when you present it, number one, I won't let you, because it doesn't account for angular size reduction at distance, and number two, I will laugh at you, because it is a begging the question fallacy.
It's not.
You are a retard. You already assume you have a radius. You have a radius value in your maths before you've done a damn thing. You already know it's a sphere. You've already got an R value, because you already know, don't you? You already know that it's got a radius, don't you? But we're not begging the question here. We don't already know our outcome. We don't already know it's a sphere, but we'll just make this R value. That's a hypothesis. It's science, right? You are quite literally stupid.
Nathan, let me take over for 1 minute, please.
Hooray!
Chill time, chill time. Bit of chill.
Just share my screen.
I've got a presentation to show as well, actually, from last night.
Just hang on a sec. Might only take 2 minutes. Nathan, present my screen if you would. Yeah.
Yep, you're on.
Well, can you see my screen? He might have to click my thumb.
Yeah, I can see it.
This is the man. This is the observer. This is a 1,000-foot mountain. The only time that mountain is at 1,000 foot is when his nose is touching it. Every time it starts to get further and further away, that value of 1,000 appears to shrink to the observer. And when it gets to 34 miles away, it's down here somewhere. It's like a little tiny mountain. It's still 1,000 feet, but to the observer, it's a fraction of its height. We want the answer to the maths that gives us the angular size, but not in angle, in feet. So if it's 1,000 feet when it's there, what height is that a mountain to the observer when it's 34 miles away? In feet, that's what we want to know.
And that's impossible.
No, it's not. It's maths.
Hold on. If he says it's impossible, that's fine. You can give up and say, I just can't do it. I can't beg the question successfully. You can do that. That's absolutely fine. But that impossibility is not our problem.
It's no one's problem.
It is your problem, because, as I keep reasserting, this is your begging the question fallacy. It is your broken, busted calculations that can't prove anything now. You're saying it's impossible to actually account for what we really see. Well, fine. That's not our problem now, is it?
It's impossible to make an angular size calculator that inputs in feet.
Well, that's not my problem, because I know implicitly that cameras take into account perspective. So I don't care if you claim it's impossible. That's not my problem. I keep telling you this. I don't really understand what your malfunction is. You just seem slow.
No one's saying it's your problem.
Yeah, it isn't my problem. I'm not about to present a curve calculator with a begging the question fallacy attached and then say that it's proof of something, even though it doesn't actually account for an angular size reduction at distance. That is your problem.
It's proof, though. Science isn't proof.
Yeah, science establishes cause and effect relationships. If they didn't prove things, why are they doing it, Alan?
Evidence proves things.
Evidence, right? That furnishes proof.
Right, we're back to the question, though. How do we get the answer to the observer for how small the mountain should be to his perspective? Not angular size, perspective. What's
Anthony,
the
there is literally only one way to do what you are describing, and it's not the answer you're looking for.
what is the answer to the question? How do we account for
Do we
perspective?
agree? First of all, you have a Anthony. Let's try to do this. So you have a target, right, at some distance, and if you plug it into an angular size calculator, that'll give you some angle.
Yeah, we don't
right?
want the angle. We want the feet. How small should it appear to the observer?
Okay, but if you want to translate that angle back to feet, you basically need to establish, first of all, what distance you want.
Why are you telling Anthony what to do? I'm just going to say it again. I have told you, the guy who uses this calculator to prove the Earth is a sphere, to go away and figure out this mathematics for your calculator. Don't tell Anthony what he needs to calculate. He doesn't need to do anything. This isn't his calculation, it's yours.
Okay, this is... okay, so
embarrassing.
Do you agree that an angular
what word? This is what? Okay. Embarrassing?
I think embarrassing is the right word.
Yeah, I would agree.
I have a question real quick. Just to talk about angular size, aren't we presupposing their model as a curve? Because there is no angle on a flat Earth. It's all perpendicular.
No,
right?
there is an angle.
There is an angle.
I'm showing it on screen right now.
Okay.
Okay, Anthony. So actually, let's keep that diagram right there. Okay, so you have that mountain that's, let's see that last one, right? And so can you draw an angle representing the top of that to the bottom of that to the observer's eye?
To the first one?
No, the last mountain, furthest away. Yeah, so you agree, so that's an angle, right?
Yeah.
And you want to translate that back to feet.
No, you need to translate that back into feet.
Okay, to translate that back into feet.
You do.
You're basically going to need
translate
to, first of all, specify
Sorry,
a distance.
Stop talking.
34 miles.
You need to do this, not Anthony.
I'm asking Anthony what he wants.
We don't want anything. As I keep telling you, this is your calculator. We're just ripping it a new asshole. We don't want anything from you. We know the Earth is flat. If you want to represent it working, that's your bag. Go away and make it work. Don't ask us what we want. We want you to understand the obvious and observable nature of reality. Things get smaller in distance. Things like that. Things you deny in favour of a presuppositional value of R. That's what we want. As for this angular reduction versus your calculator, that's your problem. You go away and fix it. Not me. Not Anthony.
Okay. I don't know how many times I can reiterate this. This has nothing to do with the curve of the Earth. There's no R value.
I agree. There is no curve of the Earth. We all understand this. What you've done is you've hijacked angular size at distance and rearranged the formula maintaining actual sizes so that you can engineer something called curvature that doesn't really exist. We all understand it has nothing to do with curvature.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
I think his phone was ringing.
I agree. It's nothing to do with curvature because there isn't any.
What we need to know, I mean, it's clear. We need to know how big will the mountain appear to the observer. If they can't give us the mass to that, but they can give us the mass to everything else, then I would suggest that they don't know what the maths is, or can't see the wood for the trees, one or the other.
All right, so just for clarification for me, the angular, what we're talking about is the sight of the observer, the angle of his sight to the object, correct?
No, you tell us. You tell us.
No, I'm asking.
Don't ask.
I'm on your side. I'm on your side. I'm just trying to.
You're in favour of the globe. We all know that. Yeah? So you tell us what you need to do to your broken calculator.
This is the plain truth. I'm not Hillel.
Sorry.
Nathan, have a cigarette, mate.
I'm ill, man.
Yeah,
That's why I'm so grumpy. I'm very ill.
I was simply asking a question for clarity on my sake because I misunderstood what was talked about for angular. So when Anthony showed his last screen and showed the angle, the degree, that's from the observer looking at the peak of each instance of the mountain. So when we're talking about angular reduction, we're talking about his line of sight to the highest point of the object. Am I on the right track?
Yeah. So this angle here to the first mountain, yeah, if you were to measure from, you can't see, but the audience can. If I'll try and verbalise it for you in the Hangout
I
as
can
well.
see it on. I can see it on Anthony's screen still.
Sure, it's just my mouse isn't visible to you, but the first angle, yeah, which I'm drawing on screen for the audience, is massive to the first mountain, yeah. To the second mountain, there has been an angular size reduction at distance. The angle becomes smaller, and then with the third one, the angle is reduced again. So there is, with every single thing, even in this, you know, side elevation view, you can demonstrate an angular size reduction at distance. Obviously, it's totally fallacious because this isn't how they present it. They don't reduce the size of the target in their side elevations, of course not.
Yeah. Makes total sense. Yep. Okay.
Apparently, this is a big problem because they can't convert that down to feet, which, as I keep asserting, isn't really our problem. Well, it isn't our problem.
Are we still live?
Yeah, it's still live.
Has Hillel been kicked, or is he still here?
No, he's just on the phone, I think.
I went and made a brew.
You get me one, Tony?
Yeah, I've stirred it with me knob.
Not necessary.
Just get you back for interrupting me before, dude. No, not on purpose.
Well, hang on, we haven't told anybody what we did to LK's butty, though, have we? So
they didn't call it a sausage butty for nothing, did they, Ramsey?
How very base. Nathan seems angry today.
I'm ill.
Thought you'd be in a good mood. You
Not
see Dell get angry last night?
No. I saw Tim Osmond's clip that caught about 20 minutes, not 20 minutes, about 5 minutes with Dell on the call with him. Hi, Mitch. How you doing?
Yeah, Steve's not a very good moderator. I don't like him.
Oh, I did hear him talking about the debate. Maybe you can fill us in, Alan. What was wrong with it?
Well, I'm not keen on Red Style either, but the old panda was on. I rather like him. But it seems Dell didn't want to chat to anybody because they wouldn't show the face. Sounds familiar. And Dell just swore and got angry again. Gav had no answers for anything.
Gav who? Gav was in Dell's Gav?
Yeah.
Sounds unlikely.
Dell rage quit.
To be honest with you, when we went on Steve's show, we spent an hour and we never even looked at the evidence that I presented once, and somehow we got declared that it was invalid and Rumpus had won.
He's too biased. He's too biased for a moderator.
Nathan's too biased at times. He needs bitch slapping at times.
Oh, really? I've not noticed.
We need Alan to be the appointed bitch slapper.
I don't see how I'm in any way biased when I point out things like logical fallacies. That's not being biased.
I know, but you need a little bit. You can do it a little bit better. You know, like not as harsh, because Hillel's only been on like once. He's not like Rumpus.
He's got grilled.
Yeah, well, when you tell me that something isn't a logical fallacy, and it is, and then you reassert it again, and then you reassert it again, then
I'd agree. I'd agree with Alan. You could be a little bit more reasonable because he is new.
Fine.
And I mean that in a nice way. I don't mean that in a critical way.
No,
be nice to him, and I'll get you an ice cream.
3 or 4 days of missing sleep. Both me and my kid have been ill, and now I'm in a very bad mood. I'm not going to lie.
I'll cheer you up. Share my screen, Nathan.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, went down to the beach last night. It was just after sunset.
Is it in focus?
Is it still?
Does it look like it's in focus?
No. Well done.
Yeah. Well, it's after sunset.
Look
mate,
at that horizon. So... It looks like you're on a submarine or something.
We
have some lights here. These two here and these three there. I'm going to show you where they are from a different image during the daytime.
Is the Eiffel Tower?
Possibly. So obviously that's the chimney. 3 chimneys. That's the lights on them ones. And then we have some lights here that are...
So then the refractive conditions must be significantly different, right? So why does it seem to look the same?
hang on. We've also got the lighthouse as well that does flash. So we've caught
you know
all of this.
We need somebody to do a blink test and overlay the two pictures. I don't know how to do those animated GIFs that GeoStreamer does, but it'd be really useful if we could get that.
Just 2 frames in Photoshop.
I don't know how to do it though.
So I went down to see. There we go. See that? Went down to see whether or not I could get the lighthouse, which is a different beast altogether. So essentially, the curve calcs say over 100 feet should be missing. The focal point light of Walney is only 69 feet. So there we go. There's that beautiful lighthouse flashing away. So I stay on that, get another couple of shots of that lighthouse going off, and then I pan across to the left, and I come across the chimney and the other 3 lights that were there. There we go. There's the lighthouse. Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful.
Made me feel seasick.
It does get that way when you're on the beach quite a lot, like I am.
It helps if you have a horizontal horizon, though, Ranty. I love you, Ranty.
Well,
You've got to be the worst cameraman in the world.
With the best footage, though. Come on, look at this.
And that's coming from Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
My footage is fantastic.
This isn't about artistic quality, is it?
Do you know what really bugs me? I get criticised to death for having smudges and whatnot, right?
Yeah, but you don't get quality like this, mate. You don't get this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but to be fair, you're doing this at what, 16 mile, 18 mile?
There's 21 miles to
21.
these buildings now, yeah.
21,
34, man.
30.
Almost.
What difference does it make?
Well, it's just the precision that's required is like far more on mine, and I get criticised to death.
It's because mine's so obvious what I'm seeing.
I know, but I have to criticise you, Ranty, because I feel unfairly criticised for my stableness at 34 miles, and no one ever mentions your. Look at the horizon there, man.
Stableness.
Yeah, my stability and my work's fantastic, and all I get is it's a smudge, and I'm like, fuck off.
Do you wear harnesses and cables to keep yourself stabilized, Anthony?
I just have this built-in gyroscopic maintenance control that just. Well, what I do is I mount my camera on something that's sturdy. Like sand is one of the best things ever. How many miles is that lighthouse away, Ranty?
I'm going to show you now. So this is where I took the observation from, exactly here. I'm going to put a line of sight into it. I've already got it up, but I'll just do it anyway. I think it's 16.33 if I remember correctly. So let's just get down here. There we go. Yeah, 16.33. Yeah.
It's called Walney Lighthouse.
Called Walney Lighthouse. I've got it up ready to show you. Walney Lighthouse. The focal height is 69 feet, which you can just see there, 21 meters or 69 feet. And the curvature calcs now is very generous in giving the view a height of 11 feet here, because I am on the beach and I'm right next to the water. But I said 11 feet just because I wanted to get it as hidden as 100 feet. I wanted that to be showing. So 16.33 miles in distance. Viewer height 11 feet. Hidden should be 100 feet. Walney Lighthouse is only 69 feet tall. But yet clearly we see it flashing away merrily in the video.
So the focal height was, did you say the focal height was 21 meters, 70 feet?
69 feet, yeah.
69 feet. And so, sorry, I was looking at something else, but what did you say the refracted hidden value was?
Refracted, and I said the hidden was 100 feet. I can show you what the refracted hidden is.
Now, forget the refracted. Unless they can prove that light bends that much, then they can't really have it.
Well, essentially, it must be bending every single day, and to a point that it looks flat. Because
come on, Ranty,
he's right. He's right.
Ranty, your footage neither looks level nor flat.
Might not look level, but it definitely looks flat.
Do you know the difference?
Yeah. In your context, you were implying that level was not like, what's the word? Perpendicular to the observer.
You've been reading up, Tony.
No, I just know what level in your context meant that you were on about the horizon being left on the right, right on the right, same level. Correct?
Correct.
Anyway, this was the daytime image at the top. Here we have, obviously there's a bit of refraction going on just up on this particular image. But the lower one I was able to pick out some kind of buildings with altering the contrast. So I've matched it up as best I can. And essentially we're seeing the same thing at a longer distance this time, 21 miles to those 3 lights that are in this location here. And obviously we've got the lighthouse as well. So another win for the flat Earth there, I think.
And I'd like to do a quick presentation, Nathan, if you will.
Sorry, I just caught up by something that Adam's just said in the chat. Nathan Oakley, think I've figured out what to do what the ballers say is impossible. You free after the show? So I'm pretty sure he's figured out how to do an angular size reduction for the distance so we can make an adjustment before we apply the Metabunk curve calculators or any other side elevation calculator, Dizzy Hub or any of these others. But yeah.
Yay.
Also, just a little bit of housekeeping. I'm sorry to sort of digress a little bit. We have Gem Panda in the chat, who I've seen on multiple occasions using Mick West's calculator to assert that we have a curved Earth. So my challenge is now to anybody who I recognise in the chat that I've seen using these calculations to come back so we can go through the evidence again in light of the new information we all understood yesterday, having discussed the matter with Mick West. So, Gem Panda, you're number 1 on this list. Just happened to be bad timing in the chat at the wrong moment when I was looking. But you have unequivocally and definitely used Metabunk calculations to claim that the Earth is a sphere. So, we will allow you to beg the question. We won't jump down your throat about but we would like to reapply some of the mathematics that you have fallaciously asserted in the past. That is all.
Gem Panda won't come into chat because A, he realises that I wasn't actually lying and he's dedicated 3 videos on me trying to lie. And now he's not man enough to accept that I didn't actually lie.
No problem. So Mick West set the standard. All of the chat, when these sort of challenges were laid down, said, oh, don't go in, Mick, you just be called a coward. And then they started calling him a coward, and he came in. So one by one, these ballers who have very doggedly asserted to very many people, perhaps even trolled them in their chats and left comments asserting that the Earth is a sphere, they have come on and, in many instances, more than I can remember, especially Gem Panda, as he's the one we're talking about, used Metabunk curve calculator, the one that is currently on screen, to claim the Earth is a sphere. I would like to readdress some of the claims made by Gem Panda. It doesn't necessarily have to be evidence that he's captured. He has used these calculations with Josh Newicki, our photos, your guys' photos, you name it, I've seen him use it. So he's the first to be challenged. If he chooses not to return, he will be deemed a total coward, and this will be highlighted from now until the day he leaves the internet.
Nathan.
Rumpus is in chat too.
Nathan.
Yeah, Rumpus, same thing applies. Number 2 on the list will be Rumpus. Rumpus, your old buddy. Hey, fella, how you doing? Yeah, we've got a bit of a problem that we've addressed with Mick West. Hope you saw the show. Thank you for pointing out the terminology I needed. Side elevation and not performing a viewing function. Very handy terms. Now that we know this information, Rumpus, you will be challenged, number 2 after Gem Panda, to return and correct some of the mistakes you have made by not accounting for the angular size reduction at distance. So, you too have used this calculation or a variation you claim is your own, which does the same thing, and we need to go through some of the evidence you have either presented or challenged based on these calculations, Rumpus. That is all.
Yeah, but let's not forget that Rumpus is also outstanding. Why there's 700 feet of curvature missing for the Northern Isle of Man thing that he promised he would do more than a month ago and has not yet done. He also has another outstanding issue, which, what was it, Nathan? There's a second one that he's recently done or not done. Oh, the orthographic perspective issue. Why is the perspective mathematics not in the not accounted for in the curve refraction thing, guys?
We don't need to. We don't need. I said this a couple of days ago, Anthony. Sorry to talk over you. This is no longer a question, right? This is a statement of fact. So I'll say it again. Their maths does not account for this. This is unequivocally, factually accurate and true. And correct. A misrepresentation of the calculation's function is to use it to account for viewing functionality, i.e. what a camera takes into account. So they need to do this. They not need to come and ask us what we want. The people who have got it wrong need to start retracting some of their errors. And I am going to be demanding this, not asking politely, demanding retractions where errors have been made. And there have been many. Good job I've got all these debates documented nice and tight, so we can go back and assess where these absolute glaring errors. Now, you can blame Mick West, I don't mind who you blame, but errors have been made. Yeah? And you guys are going to be held to account for them, you faceless potatoes who will probably just vanish. We can only hope.
Now, what I want to show here is on the curve calculator. Let's not talk about hidden anymore. Let's just talk about this horizon value. You'll note that the horizon value does not appear in the refracted bit at the bottom, so we can assume it doesn't apply. It's not subject to refraction. But the horizon value on the curve calculator, if we'll go with an arbitrary figure, 10 miles, 1 foot above the water, if you've got your camera on the water, on the beach, then it says that the horizon is a mere paltry 1.22 miles, right? Now, my camera was on the beach, 1 foot above the water. You can claim it was 10, but I've got some footage from somebody else that is brilliant. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this open on screen. Let's put it to there. And I'll highlight this element here. And we'll leave this to the right-hand side. I'll just not block that. Now, watch this guy's video. And I've mentioned him numerous times before. If you've not subbed to Taboo Conspiracy, please go and do it. But so it's 1.2 miles based on 10 miles. So apparently we can only see 1.2 miles to the horizon based on being on 1 foot above the water. Now, I'm assuming that Taboo Conspiracy has seen our work recently because he's doing exactly what we've been doing, putting the camera on the beach. Shout out, fair play, excellent work, Taboo. Now, he's looking at these two oil platforms and he's repeating BMLB's work from last year, or BLBM, or whatever it was. So these two oil platforms, however far away they are, they don't look like they're much. They don't look like they're a mile away, do they? They look like they're miles away. But nonetheless, this is what he's looking at. Now, the horizon, you can just see it in the background. It's just behind the two oil platforms. So what should be the position with the horizon? If he's only a foot, we've just been through it. 1 foot, the horizon should be basically 1.2 miles. Now, if I flick back to my screen, you can see that I also got the 1.2 miles. So on the Globe Earth model, on the Metaflump website, now this is interesting. Look at where he's got the horizon. The red line is just below the horizon there. It sits just below. It's not on it. It's just below it. So the horizon is beyond the second platform. So what he's showing now is, however far away that is, we know that it's beyond the second platform. So we're looking for a value of about 1.2 miles. Now, what he does is he plots his location and he plots these two oil platforms. This is the closer one of the two. And then he plots out where he is. And he's on Miramar Beach. And then basically he puts his lines in to see how far away they are. So he goes up to the nearest one, which I believe is this one. And it's 6.21 miles. Bear in mind the horizon's meant to be 1.2 miles. But then he goes to the furthest one away. This is the second one. It's 9.4 miles. So it's like, well, based on that information, how far is the horizon? Because it's supposed to be 1.2 miles to the horizon. But he's demonstrating with evidence that it's clearly beyond 9.41. We can say easily that that's significantly more than 10. So what's going on? Why are we seeing stuff that's so much beyond what the curve calculator tells us? The horizon is not 1.2 miles away when we're seeing no less than 9.41. We're seeing...
That's exactly an experiment I was going to do this weekend.
So what's
I'm
going
glad
on?
he's done it.
Why is the Megaflump calculator not doing what it tells? It appears to me that the Megaflump calculator is telling you that you live on a ball, and everyone accepts that it's there mathematically on the model. But when you come to apply it, it's nowhere near like what it should be. How is this possible? The horizon is meant to be 1.2 miles away. Answers on a postcard, please. And big, massive shout out to Taboo Conspiracy as well. The videos that you give us are just glorious, mate. So if you are watching, keep doing it, mate, because it just gives us fantastic content to be able to throw down these throats to these idiots.
Yeah, very cool.
Very, very cool.
And I'm glad he went down to a foot as well, because, you know, this is what we've been trying to promote, is getting people to go as low as they can do it. And even Al K, when he did the 39-mile observation, I'm pretty sure he saw down to the base of on his Ailsa Craig rock. So
Shout out to Jeranism. He's just sent me a message. I sent him a message saying, hey, dude, the Metabunk curve calculator adjusts for standard refraction because bendy light is apparently a thing. It doesn't appear to account for the reduction in size the target has due to the distance, in brackets, perspective. If I'm wrong, shoot me down, but if I'm right, the effect is that any target will have two effects against it mathematically, perspective and the drop, not just the drop. It'll rule out almost all adjustments for refraction, and objects will appear to be behind the curve in almost all occasions. Am I wrong? And he just said, so you mean in response to Canigou, the mountain that we see is 8,000 feet, but you're saying that at that distance it should be tiny. And when the calculator is used, it is taking the actual height of the item as if it never reduced in size at all. Exactly.
I'm surprised he asked for clarity on that, because he had already made a video about Jesse Kozowski and his looking out at distance and seeing a theodolite on the opposite side of a body of water drop in relative size, and before he could even say the word curve, Jaren edited it out and said it's because of perspective.
Micah Robertson.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Oh, he's there. He speaks.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for speaking straight away.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you for speaking straight away.
No problem.
Sorry, Nathan. Come on, carry on.
That was it. He either understood this. Maybe it's just the connection between the omission on the calculator. So he intrinsically knew anyway. I know he did because of the videos he made. But he just hadn't drawn the connection to where the magic trick was actually being done in the calculation. If you don't know that they omit perspective, then you don't know. You just think, oh, well, they must, like I did, oh, well, they just must have a very good understanding of observations over the years, or they tell us 2,000 years of this. Well, they've just got it pegged. Well, no, it's far less grandiose. It's far more simplistic. The magic trick always is. Everyone on the panel, I think, at some point will have seen a TV show or something where they explain how any magic trick works. So you watch the trick and go, wow, how did he saw a woman in half? And then afterwards they show you that there's two women and it's two separate boxes and it's not really that clever. And when you see that, you go, oh, it's not really that clever at all. It really kind of is disappointing. Well, this is the same. You know, Mick West isn't some genius. He's just figured a way of excluding something that we observe in natural life, which is that objects in the distance get smaller, remove that element from his calculation, leaving him loads of wiggle room to convince idiots that that reduction in size at distance is curvature. And then you just beg the question, tell them that that reduction in size at distance is actually because of a radius value that we just make up. And then Bob's your uncle. People go out and affirm that objects in the distance getting smaller is because of curvature. Self-fulfilling prophecy, circle jerk, begging the question, just nonsense. And all these people, these idiots, they 100% buy it.
And then they include standard refraction to account for any observations where you see further than their 7.6R.
And then when even that breaks, they can't even beg the question successfully. You know, a good begging the question would be that you assume your outcome correctly first. Whereas they've assumed their outcome, and then they still can't prove it and back it up. Most of the observations, even when we didn't account for an object getting smaller at distance. Oh, what's wrong? Even when we didn't do that, they still didn't match with what we actually saw. It was off by a mile in loads of instances. That's where the sort of debate on the last show started with Mr. Finder. You've got a situation where it's like, well, hold on, let's see what you get from the beach. Go down to the, you know, that's all out the window now. Forget that. You know, all the observations can be done from 300 feet again if you like. Just reduce the angular size and watch the calculator fail.
Riley.
Well,
yeah.
Any plans for a flat Earth refraction calculator?
No, it's not my claim to make.
Never thought about doing one?
No, I don't need to redesign science.
We've got one. It was shown on Mick West's site. He had a connection to the standard atmospheric conditions and how they're measured, Alan. That's real science. The problem being it didn't actually have any reference ever to radius. So
yeah,
there is scientists calculating this stuff that do experiments. Yeah? They just never actually account for it being a sphere.
Is that what you assert, Alan, that we can't use Mix anymore?
Yes.
He's busted? You think he's busted?
Well, if you think you've busted it, you can't use it for anything.
No, I'm asking, is that your position?
I would think that's fairly agreeable.
Cool.
Oh, Anthony.
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah.
That thing I sent you, that's about as close as I can get to what you're asking for.
What do you mean?
Oh, just take a look. It's the best I could do for getting angular size in feet. The only thing I could possibly that's the only way that's possible.
Where am I looking, dude?
Oh, it's in Skype. Sorry.
Oh, right. Okay. 1 sec. I'm just sending some over to Jaren. Jaren's not been keeping up to date with the flat Earth debate, so I'm just trying to fill him in about one paragraph as to what he's missed.
One paragraph.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Well, Jaren's not a retard, so he'll understand it in a paragraph. It takes hangout after hangout after hangout with these ball tards. So Jaren's on the ball, he'll get it.
He's going on Geos later.
He is. In what is that, about a week's time?
Yeah.
Well, in the nicest of ways, Jaren, if you're watching, I hope that you've learned how to debate these guys, because if you don't learn how to play the game, they'll play the game against you.
You've been on Geos a lot.
He's one of the few ballers I actually speak to offline.
Great guy.
Well, he's okay.
Oh no, he's great.
He's okay. He likes VWs far too much. I think he's fundamentally I don't know what they're called, but
you're going to be xenophobic here, Tony.
Yeah, I think he's too pro German car manufacturers at the expense of all the other cars.
Oh come on, he's got to show a little bit of national pride.
I'd consider it to be racism, to be honest. We have debates and arguments over whether VWs are worth their money or not.
I would. Should go on his channel and debate that. I'd watch it.
Why is he going on Geos anyway? I don't understand.
Geos earned a reputation for taking any person who wants to just have a one-on-one and just going on that for about 3 hours. So.
Yeah, and when he did a one-on-one with me, he wasn't able to produce evidence to support the core of the Earth was a molten iron core that self-perpetuated a magnetic charge caused by its own inertia. Yet somehow, don't know, people still believe that we have a molten iron core.
People still believe we live on a spinning ball.
It's the second most popular video on my channel. If you want to go and check it out, it was really good. He admitted it as well. He admitted he didn't have any evidence to support that the iron core was made, and that's why Paul Voigt is struggling. Shout out to Paul Voigt. He'll not come back in again. Where's that evidence, Paul?
Hey guys, I had a quick question if I could ask it.
Yeah, man.
So I'm getting into the flat Earth, right? And it makes a lot of sense. I've looked into scientism. It makes complete sense what you guys are saying. I think the only thing that I'm kind of hung up on right now is the Sigma Octantis rotation in the south. It seems, from what I understand, it seems people from multiple vantage points can see a full rotation of the stars around.
Yeah, that's the claim, but look for the evidence that that's true.
I've seen pictures online, but I mean, I'm able to source them to the photographers, but that's about it.
But you can't see a full rotation because you can't see the stars in the daytime.
Well, in the
but not only that, the bigger issue is the perception is, and the argument is that 2 observers or 3 observers, when looking south in 3 different continents, can see the same set of stars. However, there isn't the evidence to prove that that is actually true. Nobody can prove that's true, because if it was, I would be saying to Nathan and co, come on, this needs to be explained. And the answer then would be, well, what does the sky have to do with the shape of the Earth? And that's a fair counter. But at this point, the claim that same set of stars can be seen when looking south, the evidence to support that assertion is not there, in exactly the same way that the stars for the evidence for the equinoxes, the sun rises due east for everybody on the Earth and sets due west for everybody on the Earth at the solstice is not there either, because it doesn't do it. It's close to, but it doesn't do it. So, and it's required on their model, and that in itself is a hole in the evidence that people just ignore. They accept that it's there, but it isn't actually there. It doesn't do it. So it's like, yeah, take it with a pinch of salt. If you accept that that's what they believe to be true, or you believe to be true, then it's fine. It's not based on proof or evidence. It's based on logic.
From what I can see about the equinoxes thing, probably give or take about a degree for the rising and setting due east and due west, give or take maybe a degree. It does do that.
Right, but that degree over 93 million miles means the sun cannot be 93 million miles away. Do you understand the scale and perspective of that issue?
I have no idea what you just said. That's not how
that's
not what I mean by that. No, I mean
no, but that's the effect. what you just said then, it's give or take a degree or so. Yeah, but when the sun's supposed to be 93 million miles away, if everybody's meant to get it rising due east and setting due west, but someone somewhere gets it out by 1 degree, that means the sun's not 93 million miles away. Because when you put that 1 degree error out in the inaccuracy there, it puts it completely misses the sun. That's proof that the sun is not 93 million miles away. Absolutely.
It mainly has to do with the fact that the equinox is a moment, not a whole day.
Oh, right. Okay. You can justify it that way if you wish, but
that's how it's defined. The equinox is a moment at which the sun is either due west or due east.
Sure.
On the horizon.
You have to accept that the claim is that the sun rises due east and sets due west for everybody, right? Not most people within a degree. It's due east and due west for everybody. But
You've ever been to the southern hemisphere, Tony?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I've been to Brisbane in Australia, and I'm due to go to Tasmania.
Oh, maybe you can bring back some evidence.
What evidence would the evidence you got? Right.
I think he means star trails.
Yeah, the claim is that the sun rises due east and sets due west for everybody on the equinox. However, there is no evidence that shows that everybody gets it due east. It's within a degree or so. That's a massive problem.
Let's say it's in a degree or so, but can you very least agree that that doesn't work on a flat Earth?
No,
Sorry, what the
I
hell
can't agree
does
to that
mean?
because if your claim fails,
we don't have to smash
then what value is your claim?
fantasy to pieces, right? We don't have to replace it with some garbage. We just have to smash it to pieces. All of these celestial observations all start with the presupposition that you're on a sphere to begin with.
No.
Really? Take me through it.
Yeah.
How'd you get the measurement? How'd you get the measurement to the stars? What measurement do you perform? You said that the stars were millions of miles away, right?
I'm sorry, what? That's not what I said.
Did you say that the stars are a very long way away, i.e. millions of miles?
All right, what are you talking about? Are you talking about what I've directly observed or the
Yes,
model?
I'm asking you, are the stars millions of miles away? Yes or no?
Yeah, probably.
Right. And the way that they came to that measurement was to presuppose the Earth was a sphere and then make the measurement. Do you understand?
Well, not presuppose, but I see where you're going.
Listen to me. You're going to do what the other guy did, and it's going to really get me angry quickly as I'm ill. Right? You beg the question and assume the Earth is a sphere, then you make the measurement. That's why that measurement has an R value in it. Right? It's a begging the question fallacy. Now, if you don't get it, I would suggest that you don't tell me that it's not, because you will get... Right, yeah, let's not threaten you. Just tell me whether or not you understand that you presuppose an R value when you make that measurement to give you stars that are infinitely distant.
Building upon pre-existing knowledge is not...
It's not pre-existing knowledge. It's an assumption, you dick.
Do you think people found the distance to the stars first, or that the Earth was around first?
It doesn't make any difference.
Dude.
You presuppose that the Earth is a sphere when you make those measurements. Why aren't you getting these? Why have we got these dumb ballers on? They're literally too stupid to get it. It's you guys watching. If you're a baller, if you're Gem Panda, the coward, who can't come back on to re-examine his photos, or Rumpus, who claims that there's no error in the calculation, yeah, you guys watching these idiots should be ashamed. When I point out that you've already got a radius value, you already know you're on a sphere, yeah? Because you've got an R value. That's how you got your measurement to millions of miles away. When you tell me that you're not begging the question, it makes me want to slap you around and go, why are you so stupid? What's your problem? Literally, why are you this dumb, man?
And with that...
No, I'm asking. I want an answer. Why are you this dumb? I've pointed it out to you. I've taken you through the steps. I've pointed out your logical fallacy. Are you going to tell me again that I'm wrong?
Yes, you are. You've not proved it's not a ball.
I don't have to offer some nonsense, right? I can prove it's not a ball. I did it yesterday. The R value is an assumption. Didn't this sink in, Alan? Didn't it sink in what Mick West said to you? Sorry, Alan, have you got scientific evidence for the R value?
Have you got scientific evidence?
Shut your mouth and answer my question. Have you got scientific evidence for R or not?
Evidence that it isn't.
I don't have to provide anything, right? This is your assertion. R. You hear me? You hear me, friend? R. What scientific evidence do you have? Do you accept, as Mick stated quite clearly to an audience of over 200 people, that it is an assumption? Yes or no, Alan?
Where's your evidence?
I don't have to disprove this. I can just point out that you assume it to begin with, and then set about fiddling maths and ignoring perspective to insert enough wiggle room to convince idiots like you that we actually have a curve in our existence when we do not. Nobody observes it. We don't get x-axis curvature, do we now? We never actually photograph any curve. No one's ever actually seen any curve. We just get told about this obstruction. Funny that that obstruction doesn't take into account perspective, but yet that's what it does. My point being that this whole nonsense, stars being far away, yeah, curved Earth, it's all based on a presupposition. And that value, the basis of your religion, is R. So I ask again to you, Alan, do you or do you not have scientific evidence of the R value?
The sun suggests curvature.
Suggests? What kind of retard are you? Do you think a suggestion of this is a scientific evidence?
This is the same Alan we get all the time. He's not going to answer your question.
It's all right.
Nathan.
I don't
He's
mind
just
embarrassing this total retard in front of a good 150 people. It's all right, Alan. Tell me that the sun suggests it when I ask for scientific evidence of it. Or concede it is an assumption by you muppets who trust idiots who take advantage of that assumption, like Mick West, and then pull the wool over your eyes by ignoring a very real fact of life, perspective. So you idiots come along to me, show me photographs and say, look, this is how much should be obscured. People like, and not limited to, the Rumpus at number 2 and Gem Panda at number 1.
Stop waffling like the Rumpus and present evidence that it's not a sphere.
I don't have to present evidence it's not a sphere, right? That's impossible. Present evidence there are not unicorns, Alan.
You can measure the perspective from the...
Present evidence there are not unicorns.
But there may be in your world.
Oh, there might be, eh? So let's all make a religion around it and decide that we live on a spinning ball flying through space and that stars are millions of miles away, and when we see things disappearing into the distance because of perspective, it's actually curved Earth. That's what we should do, should we? We should take the suggestion of this shit. Right, Alan? The suggestion's good enough for you idiot religious zealots. Yeah? I'm asking for your scientific evidence again, Alan. You're going to concede? I don't mind going on for another hour, asking you over and over again while you tell me about what suggests things. Have you got any scientific evidence for your assumptive value of R, Alan, or not?
No, I'm asking Nathan for proof that it isn't a sphere.
You don't have to disprove someone else's assertion. You have to prove it, you retard.
Well, you're asserting it's flat.
Onus of proof, retard. So, you've got a value. I'm not disproving the value, I just have to point out that it's an assumption, which was conceded by the guy who makes your calculator, the one that Gem Panda uses and Rumpus uses, right? Those dickheads need to come back here and actually add the perspective to that calculation. That's what they need to do. Yeah, the guy who came on earlier and started asking me about what I wanted and what Sleeping Warrior wanted. Yeah. No, that's not what's going to happen. When they come on, I'll say, you account for it and you make this measurement work because it is yours, idiots.
Prove it wrong.
I have. It doesn't include perspective, a very real fact of life, Alan. I've done that, and I did it in front of your god, this man called Mick West, who you all bow to the altar of and use his fallacious calculator to prove literally nothing. It's very amusing. I did disprove it, Alan. Did you not see?
Well, I must admit, Mick didn't do a very good job.
Yeah, we know. What he admitted is that you assume R. Something you're telling me to now disprove, right? I already know it's an assumption, you retard.
Well, I don't care for these...
Good. Shut your mouth then. Okay?
The end of another great conversation with Nathan.
Yeah, great conversation pointing out what you presuppose and believe. You're a religious fanatic. Do you understand that, Alan?
And you're the Jeremy Kyle of Flat Earth.
You are a religious fanatic. You've just got a belief.
Yeah, but if he's the Jeremy Kyle of Flat Earth, what does that make you morons?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you are the buck teeth cast. That's what you are, Alan. You ballers are the buck teeth retards who come on and say about their social and their benefits. That's you.
if you're going to insult Nathan with an insult, you've got to accept that the other part of that insult means that you guys must be the rednecks.
Rednecks.
You know, whatever word you want to use.
The chavs. The idiots. Yeah. That's you, Alan. Because people like us are asserting to you that you've got a begging the question fallacy and you assume your outcome. Then you tell me that it's not an assumption and I need to disprove it. That makes you mentally retarded.
What's wrong with being working class and white and from a country?
No, nothing wrong with being working class. There's something wrong with telling somebody who is your intellectual superior that they are wrong and then backing it up by saying, we can take a suggestion of the sun. That suggests it. That demonstrates to me that you are not even intellectually smart enough to understand the question. What scientific evidence do you have of Earth curve was the question. And you told me we can take a suggestion of it from the sun. That makes you mentally retarded. That's my point, Alan.
How's your career? Ex-drama student?
Oh, so it's back to the ad homs now, is it? You run out of things to assert about Earth curve that doesn't exist, and you're going to attack me.
You've given me no proof that it doesn't.
I don't need to. It is your assertion, and that assertion is based on a begging the question fallacy.
It's not begging the question.
Yes, it is. You assume your outcome. You already assume it's a sphere. You have an R value.
Oh, well, let's wrap it.
Oh, well, I don't mind. I've just got a religious belief and I'm happy with that, right, Alan?
No, I haven't got a religious...
You have. You have no scientific evidence and you presuppose your outcome.
I have evidence.
You have a belief. What?
No,
evidence, you say? Excellent. Back on track. What's your scientific evidence for Earth curve, Alan?
Well, should we start with the stars?
Yeah, go on.
The sun, the moon.
Go on, stars.
Stars, please.
Stars, please.
The sunshine under the clouds.
Stars, please. That's what this other gentleman decided to use. And I pointed out where he was begging the question, Alan. So clearly, again, not intellectual enough to listen to the conversation at hand. I've already tore this a new one and pointed out where it begs the question. But you try again. Clearly, too stupid to just listen to the conversation, right, Alan?
Well, you didn't say scientific, did you?
You don't think I said scientific when I asked repeatedly for the scientific evidence of the R value? See? Just not quite sharp enough to even listen. Yeah?
Nathan, may I ask another question?
Please don't say something like may I, because it makes... No, you can do what you like. Everyone else does.
Okay. Okay. Just trying to be polite.
Go ahead.
So if we have no presuppositions, right, and we go to the north and we observe a rotation around the north celestial pole, I would think that that would assume that those stars are also rotating around us in around a central point, right?
So hang on. You've just used the word pole. Doesn't that presuppose that the pole would be
maybe okay? Point.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we go south and we see the same rotation, it doesn't matter which direction it is. It doesn't matter whether it's coming from multiple points. But if we see it from one single location, let's say Australia, and we see those star trails going around a single point, then wouldn't that assume that there's also a point in the south that all the stars rotate around?
Sure.
Yeah,
but the assumption is, well, you would have to be able to prove that at least two observers in the south, so say Africa and Australia, when they look due south at the same time, see the same set of stars up for a change in degrees, a rotational degrees change. That would be proof. That would be really strong evidence that we may live on a ball.
What you've just described was observably obvious. There was no assumption that you put in there or any conclusion from that. So you just went, right, we go and have a look at this point and have a look up and the stars go around and then we go somewhere else and they go around above your head. Yeah. What? So what? This is where you either go, yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what to make of that. Or you insert an R value and start begging the question. That's your choice at this point.
So, Anthony, what I would actually want to ask is how far apart would these two observers have to be for it to be satisfying to you? See this at the same time.
How far apart would the two observers be? What?
Like, let's say, like, if they were on opposite sides of Australia, for example.
No, that wouldn't be far enough because that wouldn't show enough of the sphere. You would have to get Australia and either Africa or America.
Okay, just checking. Oh, and Anthony, by the way, could you show that that picture that I sent you? I do want to quickly get back to that.
Well, you could show it yourself, but let's have a look.
I don't have the expertise yet.
Could bring him up for him, Anthony. That'd be great, and then we'll round out.
You got a cold, Nathan?
I haven't slept for about 3 or 4 days.
Dude, you need to do that.
It's because I'm ill. It's mainly because my kid just keeps me awake, and my wife.
I'm sorry about that.
She's ill too. It's not my. I should apologise to the people I've shouted at in the last 4 days.
Apology accepted, Nathan. Your ass.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
I don't accept.
I don't take any. I wasn't apologising to you, Alan. You're a retard, and deserve all of it.
No,
As did
no.
Mick. Mick gets no apology either. He absolutely deserved that. Yeah, laugh it up, lads. You've got a religious belief.
Right, so come on, talk me through this maths.
Okay, sure. The thing
Hang
at
on,
the
just
top.
before we go, are any of these any parts of these formulas, like I see tan, I see D, is that a D tan?
That's D. D is another value.
Do
That's
any of
tangent.
these, I see R, do any of these values in any of this maths presuppose a sphere or a circle?
Oh no, sorry. I can tell you what each thing is for. None of the.
course they
There's no
do.
globe in here anywhere.
What's the R value then?
That's for radius.
Right, the radius of Earth,
not of the
right?
Earth.
You're having a laugh. Of course it begs the question. We're allowing you to beg the question. We understand that it's a begging the question mathematical formula that presupposes an R radius. We've already said we will humour you in doing so. But why have you literally just said this doesn't beg the question and doesn't presuppose R? We already know that this is a begging the question fallacy.
It's a different R.
Radius of what?
Any object that you're looking at.
Right, and in this instance, what are we looking at?
Anything you want.
We're
You could
looking
look
out
at
the
a
window.
table, you
Sorry.
could look at a chair. You could look
Where
at,
is
I don't
every
know,
single
a house.
photograph ever taken ever been taken? Have you ever been to space? Or is your photograph collection full of Earth-based photographs?
What are you on about?
Right, this R value. Radius of what?
Any object that you want.
And what object are we going to be using that with today?
In this case, I guess you're using a mountain, so you could do that.
The radius of the mountain.
Yeah.
So radius of the mountain. It's an irregular shape. What are you talking about? Radius of a mountain?
Yeah, if you want, you could technically in most situations for
What's
angular
this
size they
useful
use
for?
height.
Why would we ever want
divided
to
by
measure
2,
the
but
radius of a
that's the
mountain?
same
I'm a bit
thing.
confused. Why the hell would I want to measure this radius of a mountain? I don't get it.
Okay, so this thing you're talking about, I tried, this is the only possible way to make an angular size calculation which spits out a distance and not a angle.
Well, we want a height, not a distance. We know the distance.
Sorry, I mean distance as in like feet, not as that kind of that sort of value.
Just before we move on, can I just clarify what you mean when you say radius? Because it appears that you're using the word radius in response to a mountain, but I'm sure a radius relates only to a circle.
Sorry, just pick up.
Yeah, from what I remember, yeah, radius is pertains
just,
to a circle.
I could have used another object. Just pull up a picture of any object, like
Well,
a
it's
circle or
just
Nathan
Nathan questioned whether the R was radius, and you said it was, but not the same radius. And I'm asking what was
not the radius of the Earth.
Right, but
Not
what's the alternative radius that you're referencing? Because there only appears to be two. I mean, I'm stupid, so correct me where I'm wrong. But one of them says a straight line from the center to the circumference of a circle or sphere. The other one says part of you, the forearm in your human body. So what radius of a mountain are you talking about?
Here, take up. I decided to use a terminology, and I guess it wasn't the best to use. Usually, in angular size, what is it? What I'm using as radius is the distance from the center to the edge.
I understand.
Wouldn't that be
so? Of any object, if you pick the center and you pick the edge, that's going to be the radius.
So in our case, wouldn't that be 34 miles because that's the distance?
No. So he's getting an arc calculation, not an arc calculation. He's getting an angle from that circle, and the circle that he takes that angle from is the radius. So that's the R value he's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, Anthony. If it's in a regular shape like a mountain, then the radius is for whichever value you want the angular size. So if you want, say, from the top to the bottom, then you take that radius, or sorry, in this case it'd be the middle to the top or the middle to the side. Then it's that radius, whatever it is you want the angle of.
What you're saying is this is the base of the mountain, that's the peak of the mountain, and the radius is half the value in between.
Yes.
I get you.
So it's half the height. So
Okay.
half of diameter is radius. So I chose to say radius.
Cool. Yeah. You can't use any other word. It's my fault.
Okay. So at the top there,
Trigger word.
and D. Okay. So D is the distance to whatever object.
Yeah, so that would be okay.
Yeah, and A on the left there, that's the angular size.
A, where am I seeing A?
Oh, sorry, it's the alpha.
Oh, the size of the angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so at the top, the encircled in red, that's the equation for the angular size of a target at a given distance.
That's the equation for the angular size of a target. Okay, so this is what you said. A is this alpha
Yeah, that's alpha.
equals 2
Okay.
tan minus 1 brackets n over d. What's n over d then?
That's an R. My R's usually have long stems.
Oh, the R over d.
Yeah, and also that's arctangent.
What's
that's how you write arctangent.
2 tan.
No, tangent with the to the power of -1. That's arctangent. That's just how it's said. Anyway, so then I took that equation, I rearranged it so that you're solving for the. In this case, I made it so it's you at the bottom. There's his diameter of the object.
You just put the calculation back on a second, Anthony.
I just want to know why it's arctan rather than.
That's just what it's called.
Just a function. Can you just put the calculation back on? Thanks. I just want him to go through it so he's explained it in its entirety before we end.
Okay, so at the very top, that's the equation for angular size. So then I slowly worked through it to show you my steps. And I worked it down so that this is at the bottom there above the red circled one. It says diameter of new object.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is I basically turned it from radius back to diameter. So if you know the angular size of some object and the distance to it, then you can figure out what the actual diameter of the object is.
But this is not practical for purposes of what we're trying to use.
Oh no, I'm working to it. You'll see. I put these two together.
Cool. Anything else?
So then the thing I've circled there at the bottom. You see there?
Yeah, I see it.
So this is how to get the. So basically, what I'm working towards is this is how you get a angular size in feet, sort of. So imagine that you're looking at some object. You see the triangle I've drawn up there?
Well, let's apply it to this.
Sorry, Anthony. It's just
can we go back to the thing
for
I've
him
drawn?
as a guest because he's
it's
got,
more
he's
in
got
line
his
with what I'm talking
calculation.
about.
Just let him finish off with the way he wants to. I know you're sharing for him, but just work with him.
The triangle that I've drawn there on up there, that's to represent let's say the field of view or the angular size of a particular object.
Yeah.
So that's the angular size of an object. The furthest one, let's say that's a mountain. And then the closer one, let's say that's a pencil you're holding in front of you.
Yeah.
So we know in angular size that if something small and close will look the same angular size as something that might be far away and big, right?
Yeah, that's why we're querying in the sun, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you understand the principle. So how this works is basically the equation that I've circled there at the bottom. You put in a few inputs. One is the distance to, because what you want basically is the value in, let's say, in feet for some object in angular size. So imagine that there's that far away thing. Sorry, this is difficult to explain. That far away thing for that triangle. Let's say that's a mountain, and you want to know that in feet. The only way to do that is to compare it to some closer thing at some distance. So you say there's a mountain that's, let's say, 30 miles away. How big would a particular object be at a certain distance? So let's say you're holding, and you can rearrange it for distance too. But anyway, so you have a mountain that's some far away, and you want to know, okay, so let's say at arm's length, how tall would this stick have to be to look the same size as that mountain? And that's what this tells you.
Cool.
So they're the distance to.
What would it be? I accept what you're saying here, and I'll be honest. It looks complicated stuff to me because I'm a retard.
It's just complicated to explain.
Yeah. Would it be better if you presented the same information but on a spreadsheet where you gave, say you started off with a mountain of 1,000 feet, and then you showed it at 5 mile intervals and showed what the effect is as it steps down. So basically, as the distance goes up, you should see the apparent height dropping as the mountain gets smaller. That would be easy for us to understand.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
Well,
it's a comparative function.
What this does basically, it says, okay, you have an object that's so far away, and you have another object that's also some distance away. And what is the size of that closer object to look the same size as that further object.
Okay.
And that's the only way to have angular size as a
I'm
measurement
asking,
that's not degrees.
could you reduce this down into a straightforward spreadsheet by putting the information that we see on screen, so that essentially you could get 1,000-foot mountain at a mile, and then get it at 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles, 20 miles, 25 miles, and then it'd tell you what the height would be at 25 miles on just a spreadsheet. Could you put all that into a spreadsheet?
Sort of. That's not really what this is, though.
Yeah, but that's what we need to know. How tall should the mountain be when it's in the distance?
Well, for that, again, that'd be an angle.
No, in feet.
Well, like I said, this is the only way to do it in
the same
feet.
cross purpose. We went round in circles with this earlier, and what on the fly, I'm very impressed actually. What you've come up with on the fly is a way to make a comparison. So you can't just say what's this at the distance of X, because you need, for this calculation to function, two objects at differing distances to make a comparison. I mean,
it's all about comparison.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
No, it's not agree or disagree. It's just that's what he's done on the fly, and kudos, man. Great. It's a good start. It may fail. It may not serve its purpose, but considering you did it on the fly and how much grief I've given you, I think that's very impressive. So yeah, I think that is going to be the point that I round out the show, though. So with that, I will say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. It was superb. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, well, then you know what to do. But if you liked it, smash the like button. Maybe consider sharing it and subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!